I'm having a moment, and I wanted to get it down because I just replied to a comment on my video about gravity being a fallacy. This is it. This is how you liberate your mind. This is what it's all about. Flat Earth is about liberating your mind. Freedom. When you understand that gravity is the imaginary god of people who have hijacked satanic priests who have hijacked science and religion and put gravity in there, the most unscientific subject in the entire spectrum of science. The one single, unproven, untested, unobservable, non-repeatable thought experiment in science is gravity. It was created to create an imaginary world which they have been sticking in our heads since birth. When you see that, when you really see it, when you disconnect from the idea that your feet on the ground are because of some planets and suns way out there, billions and billions and trillions of miles away, that we have never been to, then you get it. Reality is this. This is reality. Not up there. This imaginary heaven, the heavens, up there, that we've never been to, and we don't get to go to until we die. That's it. We deal with that. We know we're going to get there. They've been distracting us all along, telling us to look up there, look up there. Everything you do down here, blah, blah, blah. Life is the experience you're supposed to have. The journey. But we're all thinking about where it's going to take us. Understanding flat Earth, truly understanding it, becoming a genuine flat earther, I think, only comes after you've been through this entire process of checking. You don't even have to look at the NASA footage anymore. You don't have to look. You don't have to look for wires or bubbles or anything like that. You don't have to see if the ISS is fake. You don't have to, because you know it's fake. It has to be fake. It has to be fake. Again, I can't remember the photographer's name, but he took from his backyard, from inside his house, behind a window, he took footage of Venus. A ball spinning around, a ball of light spinning around within our atmosphere with a blue sky behind it through the holes, the same as we see with the moon. Now, I'm not saying I know what the moon is, but all these things, that's why you can't see stars when you get out to space. They're not there. They are not there. Why can't you see the stars? There are none. Maybe up there it is. Infinite space, infinite nothingness. There is nothing up there. That's why they never see it. Yeah? All the stars, all the planets, they're right above our heads, and they're tiny. It could be a couple of 100 miles up, a few 100 miles up. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You don't have to go measuring the flat earth and all that stuff. All you've got to understand is that a few hundred years ago, people who wanted to increase their grasp, their control on the property. You just look into Newton. He was an investment banker. He was one of the directors and one of the shareholders of the East India Company. And if you don't know about the East India Company, do some bloody research about, do some history. And he was a politician. You know, these teachings about gravity and Newton's laws were made law at one point. Our heads have been messed with since we were kids. All right, you go to school, you see the globe, you get told you're stuck on it. There's no way to explain it until you get a little bit older when you can understand some math, right? So they're teaching the math. So you got used to things like kilograms, centimeters, and all that stuff. All makes sense, okay? Something's heavy, right? Then they come along and they start talking about Newton's laws and telling you, and they introduce the Newton, and they give you some weights. And a Newton weighs the same as a kilogram. Newton, kilogram, right. But now we're going to do some things about the effects of gravity, and we're going to put these Newton weights, which are the same weight as a kilogram, on a spring. And you can measure the spring and blah, blah, blah. Do some math with a totally different language. They've given us an imagine. Star Trek. The Klingons, they have a language, they have an entire language for the Klingons in Star Trek, yeah? Star Trek is fiction, and they call it science fiction. This is how they've messed with our heads, man. They call it science fiction because it's fiction. It's fiction, but they tell you it's science. It's something that we could do one day. They say they make it out that it's a possibility. Yeah, science fiction. Oh, one day we're going to be able to travel to the stars. One day we're going to be able to do light speed and walk, vroom. No. It's fiction. So they've invented this language for the Klingons, right? It's fine in that world, that fictitious world where there are Klingons, to use that language, but in reality, not the TV, in reality, our reality, the same thing has happened with words like gravity, mass, Newton, a Newton weight. Yeah? A Newton is a kilogram. Mass is density and weight, a mixture of the two. They only use mass to start talking about this imaginary world of planets and stars and spinning stuff, yeah? That's why they had to come up with a new word. It doesn't have anything to do with this. Nothing. Weight is weight, density is density. Yeah? You don't need another word. You don't need mass. When they say mass, boom, you start thinking of this connection to an imaginary world. No. No. Look. How does this defy gravity? It's having no problem. Yeah? Gravity is the most unscientific subject in the entire spectrum. Yeah? The spectrum of science, yeah? Electromagnetic waves and frequencies, we know about all of them. We use them or maybe we don't know about all of them, we know about some of them. We use them on a daily basis. The ones we know about, the ones that we say are science, are the ones we create, use, manipulate on a daily basis. X-rays, gamma rays, radio waves, light, sound, yeah, magnetism. Think about that, yeah? Gravity is kind of perceived as it's just like a magnet, yeah? It has this inverse square field, the magnetic field, okay? So that's a really easy way to imagine gravity, right? It's a magnetic field which pulls of the Earth which pulls everything, which magically pulls absolutely everything. Everything's on the ground because of gravity, right? That's what they tell us, yeah? Just like magnetism. You know, and electromagnetism, the inverse square law is the same as gravity, okay? It's the same thing. Check it out. Do your research. Don't say I haven't done my research, because I have, okay? So, gravity is supposed to be this big magnet. So what happens when you put a paper clip on a magnet, or you try and draw a paper clip to a magnet? It sticks. It sticks to the magnet, and you have to prise it off. Gravity doesn't do that to a leaf or a piece of paper. Yeah, everything on this, everything scientific on this Earth, all these things I've mentioned here, they all work independently of gravity. They're not affected by gravity, are they? Yeah. The air that we breathe, the way we breathe, is about producing a vacuum with your diaphragm, right? Okay. The air molecules, they're blown about by the wind. They rise through temperature and their friction or whatever, and they sink or they turn into something else. They turn into ice or vapor or steam due to temperature, right? That's it. That's how water is, and we know what it's made of, H2O. So we can create water, we can make it, and we can manipulate it. Yeah? We understand it. We use it on a daily basis. Water. It's all very scientific. Yeah? Magnets, okay. Just explain that. All right. Radio waves. Yeah. None of these are affected by gravity. Air molecules are not affected by gravity. So when defenders of the globe are trying to defend the globe, and you go on about, you know, how does the atmosphere stick to the Earth then? Gravity. No, it doesn't. Because then, you know, you get that little factoid, and then you come to another one, the fact that when you're manipulating air, making it, creating pressure, creating air pressure, you don't have to do anything with gravity. Force or whatever you use to create the vacuum, or a vacuum or air pressure in a tank, is done regardless of any gravity. You don't have to hold it upside down or turn it up the other way or do anything, you know. It just does its thing in its scientific way without any relationship to gravity whatsoever. Gravity doesn't come into the equation of anything whatsoever that is our reality. Nothing. Friction, weight, density. Yeah. Do you understand? Am I making it clear? I know. But this is it. This is what the liberation is. This is it. Once you understand, once you really clearly see it, that this world, this earth, and everything around it, us that we experience, that is our reality. But what they've got us focused on since a very young age is a fictitious way, which they've branded science fiction. A fictitious way of trying to connect this outer space, the heavens, the cosmos, billions and billions and billions of miles across, with our reality. There is no connection. Only in their heads, because they created an imaginary world. Yeah, and that imaginary world has been used to control us. And if you're an American, steal your tax dollars. And, you know, allow you to get off on big rockets going up in the air. It's all fiction, and it's not science fiction.